What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, we got a good one here for you. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, buddy?
Not doing too bad. I'm excited to hear your comments on this Astros series. Not really. Don't really want to talk about it. I actually I don't really want to talk about it too much because it's the same thing that's kind of happened all year. Um, Realistically, like you go into a series. We even talked about it a little bit last podcast. It was like favorable matchups. We thought to an extent. The Angels had an opportunity to take two or three for sure with the matchups and how they were going. And I'll never be mad if a team flat out gets beat. Like I thought Friday night they flat out got beat. Saturday, I thought they flat out got beat, and then Sunday I thought they went out there and competed. Today I thought they went out there and competed and played a good quality baseball game. And the only time I will get mad and get upset about baseball and like losing is if stupid plays happen, or stupid mental breakdowns happen. And I know you already mentioned it. It happened.
You,
It
you
happened
didn't
on
think
Friday.
that happened Friday?
Well, so yes, but it happened. Those breakdowns happened after runs have been scored. Like you Detmer's
That's
put himself.
that's when that's when
Detmer's
you find out if a team is mentally tough or not. Is when things aren't going well.
exactly, but
If things are going well, it's easy to play well. But like when Detmers goes out there and he gives up three, and you got a shot to turn a double play, and you throw the ball away, and then he's given up four. You've got another shot to turn a double play to get you out of it, and you don't even know who's covering the bag.
gotta limit damage for sure.
Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. No,
How do you not know who to cover? Who covers a bag? We've been shifting for 5 years.
wow.
I know Rengifo doesn't play shortstop, really, but still, 5 years of this minimum. We've been shifting for 5 years minimum, and we don't know who covers the base on a ground ball to shortstop. Oh my gosh, this team, like it's honestly funny to me to sit here and say this team's a playoff team when they can't even play defense.
You just went right in for it here, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
I was
like,
going to talk some pause. I didn't even want to talk about this series. I was going to talk
no, but
positive.
it like
But no, I agree. Like, so
you're
yes,
not good enough to beat the Astros. It's fine. Like, and the Astros aren't even the best team in this division. They aren't.
I think they are just because they've been there and done it before.
They might, yeah, they might be because of that, but they
Yeah,
don't have the best record.
no,
And you're about to go see Texas right now, and you are going to see the three horses that they got
yeah. We'll talk about Texas.
without Evaldi, but yeah,
We'll talk about the Texas series here in a second, or in a minute or two. I didn't want to talk about the Astros series too much. I just like that's what I wanted to say is like game we the first game on Friday, Detmer's put himself in a bad
he
situation.
pitched terrible.
He didn't pitch well. Like in all honesty, he hasn't pitched well the past couple games. We've seen the roller coaster with Detmer's.
4 or 5 games.
Yeah, it's been a little while. He looked good. He looked good for like 5, 6, 7, that was an 8 game stretch. It felt like during in the middle of the season right before the All-Star break. He pitched really well, I thought. But now we've kind of seen a little bit of regression there, and he put himself in a bad situation. So again, why I'm not bad? Yes, you want to be like I think mentally you have to be tougher than that to have a shutdown inning, and say like, hey, this was like we need to stop the bleeding like that. That's what
if it's 3-1 at the end of that inning, you'll back and score another run.
yeah. All
You
of a sudden,
still feel in it.
you got to
Right?
stop the bleeding for.
And I'm not trying to bail Reed Detmers out. Reed Detmers pitched absolutely terrible. He has not thrown the ball well lately. He can't throw strikes. Like it's been very obvious from pitch 2 or 3 that he can't throw strikes. And I think it was 2 starts ago. It was the second inning, and I was like, why is he still in the game? Because you could tell after the second batter that he just didn't have it. It was against Seattle. I don't remember if that was 1 or 2 starts ago, but it's like you can tell very obvious, like very early and obvious that he just doesn't have it. And I know the Angels haven't really had the pen because everyone has been getting slacked lately. That it's like, well, our bullpen has thrown 72 innings in the last 3 games, which isn't even possible. But like that's what it feels like. And yeah, he's got to throw the ball better. Like we were expecting him to be better. He is not, and for Perry to go out there and make the decisions that he made at the deadline, he was expecting Reed Detmers to pitch better than this. And, it just goes to show even more that, like, what the heck were we doing at the trade deadline? You really messed this franchise up a long time.
You're gonna keep pushing that, huh?
I am, because like it put this team back multiple years, because you could have gotten 5 players for Shohei Ohtani. 5. You get one player for Hunter Renfroe. That's 6. You get one player for Matt Moore. Probably nothing special, but you still get a player from Matt Moore. 7. That is 7 lottery tickets that you have a chance to pull a Logan O'Hoppe. You have a chance to pull a Zach Neto. You have a chance to pull a Mike Trout out of those 7 lottery tickets. Don't look at me that way. Like, nobody, when Mike Trout was drafted, did anyone say he was going to be what he was? They said he was going to be a good player, but nobody said he was going to be the best player in baseball, right? It's a lottery ticket. That's what prospects are.
Yes. Yeah.
So you had 7 lottery tickets. You had a shot at 7 lottery tickets, and you said, you know what? All our lottery tickets are no good. We're going to give them away to somebody else, which, honestly, did I really like the guys that we had? No. The guys that we gave up, not really. There were a couple of guys that I thought were interesting, but didn't really love the guys that we gave up, right? But you just gave 4 different teams a chance at pulling a guy, and all they need, maybe one little adjustment, and they're a good and they're a good player, right? Like, some of those guys have a shot to be all-stars. So yeah, it did set this franchise back a long time, and now you've really put yourself in a hole, because if you lose Shohei Ohtani, you are in deep trouble, and getting smacked around by the Astros 11-3 back-to-back nights is not a good way to keep a guy who wants to win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to bring, the bright side, and I also forgot to do this, if you're listening to this podcast or watching us here at YouTube, go ahead and pound that subscribe button, especially for these Nate rants. Really do appreciate it, Nate. Really,
it's hard watching this.
It is. Like, I don't get upset too easily about the games. Like I just said, like, I don't get upset about losses just because, unless it was a stupid loss. And like I said, for me, not one stupid play, because there were a couple, you mentioned them,
multiple.
The stupidest play for me was Sunday's game when Jose Soriano didn't go and cover home plate.
Oh my gosh!
I know he probably scores anyways,
still.
But as a pitcher, that's the one thing that bothers me. I would have. That got
They're
me.
Lucky they won the game.
I was like, yeah, luckily they won the game. It only one run came in, and again, he doesn't. Singletary probably scores anyways, or Singleton probably scores anyways. But like, what happens if Wallach throws it, and it just goes? That's another run. Like, all of a sudden, it's a whole different ball game. So, actually, if Soriano's covering, Singleton probably doesn't go. I think Singleton's heads up for him there.
He might actually be out at the plate, honestly.
It was close. Like I said, I don't know if he would have gone or not. I think it was a heads up play on his part to see that Soriano wasn't covering, and was like, well, I'm just going to go take home. I'm just going to go take it here. So again, that one of the negatives for me was that I was like, you almost just lost this. You almost just got swept on this play right here. Like, for me, that's one thing that like gets me, like, so I want to talk about the positives here. Not that there weren't a lot in this series, but I do want to talk about the one positive. We got one.
My guy,
Chase Silseth, man.
He's unbelievable.
Dude's looking good against good pitching. And to build off that, because we've talked about Chase Silseth enough, we really like him. I've mentioned it before. I'll say it again. Reminds me of reminds me of a little Shohei Ohtani. I'm gonna be honest there with you. Once he learns how to pitch, very similar repertoire. Just got to learn how to pitch there, right? He's a very interesting pitcher. To build on top of that, you start looking at 2024, and I know you said that this set the Angels back, not selling, and I agree it did. This 2024 team would look a lot better, but you do still have something to build around in 2024. You do. You can roll your eyes all you want, but you do, right? You have O'Hoppe behind the plate.
Okay.
You got Shanwell possibly at first base. I know there's not a lot of pop there, but he looks really good as a pure hitter.
He's not a lot of pop. Hard too. He's hit the ball hard.
He's not hit the ball hard at all.
I know that was the sarcastic comment. He's David Fletcher at first base. That's fantastic. We love to see that right now. That's what he looks like.
Can we stay positive here for like 2 seconds, please? Like, look what they got to work with here. Right? You put Shanwell at first base. You got
270 hitter with all singles. Great.
That's
what I'm looking for out of my first.
The Angels are missing that. If the Angels are missing that guy that just gets hits right now. Like they rely on the long ball way too much. Is that fair to say? Like I'm not saying 100%, build your team.
They rely on the long ball too much, but that's the way that this team is built.
Yeah. Drury at second base.
Can't feel the lick.
Neto at short. You okay with Neto at short?
He's healthy.
Is that okay?
Neto yeah, he's fine.
I want to say Rendon at third, but
don't even put him on the list.
Rendon at third right now. You can't. Ward in left, maybe, hopefully, right? Coming back off scary injury.
Like we don't even know what's going to happen with that.
Trout in center.
No, put him in the corner.
Fine. Moniak in center with Adele platooning somewhere or DHing, and then Trout in at a corner spot, and then your rotation. You build on the rotation.
Moniak looks terrible lately. He can't field and he can't hit.
Podcast, huh?
Joe Adele hasn't shown us anything, so it's hard to write his name in there.
I said you got something to build around. I didn't say you had a team here. You're like all these commenters on Twitter that I put this out there on Twitter, and everybody's like,
"It's bad.
It sucks." It's like you have something to build around, though.
Depends on if you spend your money wisely, though. Have we seen them spend their money wisely?
Okay, knowing us, we're going to go out there. Let's flip this podcast. Then is Arte going to sell?
Is he going to sell? I think so.
I think so too.
I think so.
I agree with you. Like we're gonna let's throw a curveball in this podcast and let's ask: is Arte going to sell? Let's give. We've been throwing.
I think honestly, that's why the Angels went all in. Like I'm sure Perry wanted to go all in because Perry knows that if he doesn't go all in, he's fired. Like if he sits here and goes, he went into his meeting 3 years ago with Arte and said, "Hey, look, I can build a winner. Just give me more leash." Gave him a little bit of leash and was like, "Okay, we'll give him a little bit more leash." And then he finally, right before the Joe Madden firing, goes, "Just give me a full leash. I can do it." They gave him a full leash, and it's the same freaking team as it's been the last 3 years. Same team, right? And so Perry knows that he is on the hot seat. His job is on the line, whether you like it or not. His job's on the line. Artie's going, you know what? We're not re-signing Shohei Ohtani.
Losing Ohtani.
It's not happening.
This team's in the shitter.
But I can try and make the playoffs with this team one last time. If me and Perry say let's go all in and we make the playoffs, then at least I can say, "Hey, Shohei, we're going to re-sign you. We can try to re-sign him." You know, all these things happen. Now the team becomes more valuable because not only is a playoff team, it might still have Shohei Ohtani on it. All these things, right? If they miss the playoffs, Arte can be like, "You know what? Even if I sell this team, it's still billions of dollars of profit. It doesn't really matter."
You're not selling it at its highest either, which is interesting to think about. Like, not that the Angels were at their highest anyways.
You could argue that last offseason was the highest they would have ever been.
I mean, you're not losing much, but a couple. We're talking chump change here, a couple mil, right?
Darn it. But so yeah, I could see Arte being Arte, almost like Tom Brady when Tom knew Super Bowl was coming up and goes, "Hey, you know what? Super Bowl's next week. Yeah, I'm going to come out of retirement this week." So they talk about me and not talk about the Super Bowl. Right before the World Series, I could see Arte saying, "You know what? I'm putting the Angels back up for sale." And doing the same thing, making sure he's in the media. He loves to be in the media. He loves the attention. Whether it's good attention or bad attention, it seems that he loves the attention. I could see it happening. Yeah.
We threw spin on this and actually did make it positive. Like I was trying to go through I was going to go through next year's, kind of roster in a sense and say, "Man, you got something to build around there." And it was like,
yeah. And then we would have spent $15 million on a reliever named Aaron Loop. And it would have been like, "Hey, that skeleton was pretty good." And then, oh wait, we signed Aaron Loop and Ryan Tepera, and we wasted $30 million on 2 relief pitchers.
Yeah. Back onto it though. I mean, it does make it. You're not right. It does make a lot of sense. We've been talking about this off the record too. I mean, figured let's just talk about it here. It makes a lot of sense if Arte were to sell the team this offseason. We don't know anything inside of it, what's going on, but if you look at it from the outside, it makes a lot of sense. What Nate was just saying. The Angels go all in. You're not getting Otani back. You're leaving this. You're leaving this organization. Dare I say, in shambles?
Yeah, no, 100%.
From
Because
a player
this
standpoint.
organization, like, it could be
Yeah.
Harry's on the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
With no manager, with no Shohei Otani, and Arte is basically saying like, "Hey Perry, you can't do anything because I'm selling the team," and yeah,
Oh,
it could be an
how
absolute
about that off
nightmare.
season if he actually said, "Yo, I'm gonna sell the team. You can't make any moves."
But honestly, I think this year, like if he did it, it would be a very quick process. Like it would be done like probably 2 weeks after the World Series because he's already done
Gone through that
everything,
process. Yeah.
right? Like
Makes sense.
that. So that's the one benefit to him already going through this process is it would be quick. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just guess and speculation at this point. This team this team needs something, and honestly, an entire rework of the organization would be best for it. But it does have some young talent. You know, you mentioned Silseth is throwing the ball really well. As long as he continues to take that step forward, Ohapi has proven that he's pretty good behind the dish. As long as he can, stay healthy. You've got Neto, you've got Trout. There's guys to build around, but I don't I don't want to put too many guys in the build around because they're not like that's what's gotten us into this problem in the first place. Is we watched Luis Rengifo for 2 months and said he's the answer, and then we watched him for 2 months this year and said, how in the heck is this guy still on the roster? Like we've done this a lot with guys, or Jose Suarez has a good 2 months to end the year a couple of years ago, and it was he found another starter. He is legit. I still don't know how that guy's on the roster. Right? Like, I don't know how he still keeps getting chances. So that is the problem we've gotten into, and that's why I don't rush to throw Shanuel and whoever Joe Adele, Mickey Moniak. I mean, we've seen Mickey Moniak before. Like, we've seen this exact thing where a guy gets hot for a month or two, comes back down to earth, and then all of a sudden he can't hit when he comes back. So that's the biggest thing. And honestly, like, we didn't even get to the one thing I wanted to talk about, which is the coaching. The coaching has been an absolute trash.
Let's not do that. Don't get into that. Don't get into that. So
it's been bad.
Let's get on to the series preview here. Let me take a little step back here, though. Moniak kind of reminds me of Cole Calhoun a little bit. So again, let's fast forward here onto this onto the series preview here. I already have what I think is going to go down here. I think you're going to agree with me here. Game one, you get Sandoval against Max Scherzer. Always fun to watch Scherzer pitch. It really is. Game two, Giolito against Montgomery, and then game three, I would assume it's Griffin Canning against John Gray. Actually, kind of a fun matchup there, to be honest. I'm not horribly upset. Let's get predictions here. Game one, I think we're going to be in agreement here. I think Texas is gonna be on this one.
Hopefully, we can keep it close.
Yeah. No, like I said, I always like watching Scherzer pitch, so it's gonna be fun to tune in and watch him on a Monday. Only game in the org as well going on, so all eyes will be on that game. Tuesday is a game I think the Angels have a chance to take. Jordan Montgomery has been good, but anytime you throw a guy like Lucas Giolito on the hill, in a pitcher friendly ballpark, I think it's going to come down to hitting a little bit here, and I think the Angels maybe have a little bit of an edge hitting the lefty over the Texas hitting a righty, but I don't know, maybe just a little edge. Just saying,
their two best hitters are left-handed.
That's fine. The Angels' two best hitters are right-handed.
What?
Chad Wallach.
Shohei Ohtani's left-handed.
I'm just trying
Corey
to
Seager is left-handed.
I'm just trying to say the Angels aren't going to get swept here, okay?
Like, Texas wins.
Are you giving them a sweep here?
We'll see.
You go game three, assuming it's Griffin Canning against John Gray. Hey, I'm not saying they're getting swept. I'm thinking
John Gray wins it. Texas sweep. Put the nail in the coffin.
That's horrendous, man. That's rough. I think the Angels.
I just watched Jonah Heim come back in 2.5 weeks off something they thought was a season-ending injury. Comes back in 2.5 weeks. Have we ever seen the Angels do that?
I think the Angels are winning that second game. I think Giolito is going to pitch really well in that second
Jonah
game.
Heim's back. I'm worried about him. He is only going to be hitting left-handed from what they're saying. He will be playing that game. I would assume that is a scary thing for me because Jonah Heim, he's been unbelievable this year. He's an all-star. He's had a really good year. He has 70 RBIs as a catcher right now. You just don't see that. You just don't.
You're saying the Angels get swept. I'm saying the Angels lose 2-3. Not looking good there in this series. It's not looking any better when you get back home. They go Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, then they go on the road to New York, on the road to
Tampa Bay,
Philly.
you might actually win a couple at home. They're pretty depleted with pitching injuries, so you got a shot there.
That's fair
to win 1 or 2.
That's fair. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for listening to Watching This Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. Love to hear how you guys are feeling. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead, drop in the comments down below how you feel about the Angels right now. I know it's not looking fantastic by any means, but hopefully we shed a little bit of light on this organization, and maybe we see an Arte Moreno sale again, possibly this offseason. So could go ahead and follow us on all of our social media, Twitter X, I'm going to call it that. Facebook and Instagram, just go ahead and look up Talking Halos. Found myself on Twitter X, Jared_Tims. You can find Nate Korean34. Guys, thank you so much for listening and watching, and have a great rest of your day.